After going 38-148 over the past 2+ seasons, the 76ers announced the hiring of Jerry Colangelo as a special advisor. Sources telling ESPN.com that the move was lobbied by the league office after owners routinely complained about the economic drag the 76ers were inflicting on the league. Stephen A., we need your thoughts. Do you like this move?
Well, I love the move from the perspective that Jerry Colangelo is a great basketball mind. He's a good man. He's great for the game of basketball. He's the managing director for USA Basketball for a reason. And the fact that the Philadelphia 76ers have brought him on board is literally the only good move they have made in about 4 years. And that's to put it mildly. Understand the necessity for Jerry Colangelo. He's going to provide you leadership. He's not going to hide like a coward when adversity hits the franchise and leaves it up to Brett Brown to answer questions about the behavior and the discipline or lack thereof, along with the upbringing of Jahlil Okafor since he's become an NBA player. He's not going to scurry and hide. More importantly, he's not going to answer every question thinking numbers are the answer to everything. Sam Hinkie is the general manager. Here is my only problem with Jerry Colangelo. He's given the impression that he wants to mentor Sam Hinkie. As far as I'm concerned, Sam Hinkie is lucky to have a job in basketball. He is a numbers cruncher, serves absolutely no purpose whatsoever outside of that. And if you could allow me, Skip Bayless, to do this, to the producers, could you please put the face of Sam Hinkie up on national TV? I need people to see his face, because if this were a player getting in trouble or doing something wrong, we would say that. I want people to see this man's face, view it as a mugshot, and treat him with the disgust it deserves because of the way he has literally thrown seasons. But it's not just on him. That is Sam Hinkie. In case you see him at a restaurant, he's walking the streets. Make sure when you crucify the players, you take a moment to crucify the man who assembled them. Drafting Nerlens Noel when you knew he couldn't play a season. Drafting Joel Embiid when you knew he couldn't play a season. Trading Michael Carter-Williams after he was Rookie of the Year without even consulting Brett Brown against his wishes. Now, obviously, it was okayed for him by the owner. Could you put his face up on the screen? Mr. Hedge Fund icon trying to sit there. This is Mr. Josh Harris, the dude that owns the 76ers, that has gone about the business of facilitating the Sixers organization, literally throwing seasons. That's who he is. I know Philadelphia would love to see him, but you can't find him because he's usually hiding in New York City, because that's where he lives, even though he owns the Philadelphia 76ers. Those are your two individuals. And the coaching fraternity, Skip Bayless, has reached out to me and literally said to me, it is a travesty what is happening to Brett Brown. That's why the other owners got involved. That's why they reached out to Commissioner Adam Silver. That's why Jerry Colangelo is in Philadelphia, because they are trying to salvage a basketball travesty, as my man Marcus Hayes wrote in the Philadelphia Daily News. It is a travesty of the highest order. And as far as I'm concerned, they're lucky Jerry Colangelo is there, because if he wasn't there, I would be calling for the city of Philadelphia literally to boycott this team and not show up and protest outside of the arena until Josh Harris has to give up ownership and Sam Hinkie goes back to MIT or wherever the hell he was crunching numbers, because that's all he's good for. The man does not know basketball, or worse, he doesn't care to know.
So we're almost out of time after that soliloquy, but you're asking the fans to view these as wanted posters, that if they see these men in the streets, and I'm not real comfortable with the word crucify. Maybe you could go to criticize, because we don't want people crucified, right?
But that's what I meant. I meant criticize. I'm sorry. I meant criticize. You're right.
Okay, I got it. Okay, just a real quick thought. I think Jerry Colangelo will do a great job, because he has a great basketball mind. So I'm happy with that. I'm not completely comfortable when a commissioner gets involved in this way, shape, or form. Obviously, the extreme of this would be to rig the lottery for the 76ers. I'm not saying anybody, but that would be the extreme. This is the mildest form of this, where a commissioner is trying to help the worst team get better. And I'm just not sure I want my commissioner to have that duty. Like, remember the late, great Tex Schramm, the founder and president of the Dallas Cowboys? He once fleeced Seattle for Tony Dorsett. And his response was, the NFL can't legislate intelligence on the part of every franchise. The 76ers, they made a mistake on Michael Carter-Williams. He just turned out to be a guy with a bad attitude that they didn't like. Joel Embiid was, I thought he was a great pick. He's just been hurt. It was a bad break. And Okafor is a good pick. So I don't know what to tell you. You can't help them with their intelligence level, right? I mean, the system.
Here's what you're missing. Here's what you're missing. There have been bad teams before, perpetually bad teams. No owners, no collection of owners have called for the commissioner to get involved because a team is losing. They're making the case that the 76ers are throwing seasons, Skip Bayless. They're throwing seasons. They are keeping veterans from coming on the squad on purpose. They're doing this on purpose. They want to stink up the joint so they can stop. That's the problem. That's why Adam Silver had to get involved, and that's why Jerry Colangelo, thank God he's there. I hope he can do something because, my God, I love and respect this man. But this is a travesty. It really is.
That's a fair point.
All right, we're all hoping for the best there with Jerry Colangelo making some change in Philly. Moving on, though, it was a rough night for Deshaun Jackson, but how terrible was that play? We'll get into it. Back in a few.
Very frustrated. And take that one on my chin. You know, I'm a veteran in this league, and I know I need to protect the ball, and it just got away from me. But once again, it's very frustrating.
First Take is brought to you by Men's Warehouse. For all the season's latest styles, visit menswarehouse.com. T-Mobile, switch to the Data Strong network. And Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Siege the Day. In stores now. Rated M for mature.
The final 2 minutes of the Cowboys-Redskins game was filled with some bad plays. Skip, what was the dumbest play, though, from last night's game?
Stephen A. Smith, the dumbest play was not Deshaun Jackson. I didn't condemn him for trying to win the game by himself when he fumbled. We have seen him win games before. Remember what he did to your Giants at Giants Stadium, that walk-off punt return of his? The dumbest play to me came after that play, when my Cowboys actually played man-to-man on Deshaun Jackson and let him run behind Mo Claiborne for the tying touchdown. I nearly turned the game off right then and there.
Well, I think you're right from a level of football expertise. But in terms of what the eye saw, it's hard for me to give anybody the edge over Deshaun Jackson in that regard when you literally run 20 yards backwards. You know? I mean, you're right. Please don't get me wrong. But for visual perspective, to run backwards 20 to 25 yards towards your own end zone, but, in an effort to try and get away from tacklers, doesn't make sense in the NFL. It's just not something that you know. It's just not something that you do. I don't know if I've seen anybody literally run backwards 25 yards, which is what he did. I understand him trying to get away and evade tackles, trying to make a play. I love me some Deshaun Jackson, best deep threat in the game as far as I'm concerned. But look at this, Skip. He's near the 25-yard line and runs all the way back to the 3-yard line. Skip the 2-yard line. Come on now. It can't get much worse than that.
And I must admit, I was scared to death while he was running backward that he was going to pick up a wall of blockers on the far side of the field and go all the way. That's just me.
Okay.
Depending on who you're rooting for, I guess.
Hey, at the end of the day, your Cowboys 1 game out, but the Giants still got that 5-7 record tied with the other 2.
Whatever.
All right, thanks so much for joining us.